Hi everyone, Rosa here with CreditXpert. Today's question is, how can I help my borrowers when they have absolutely no additional funds to reduce their debt? So as most of you know, CreditXpert Wayfinder gives you the most cost-effective plan to do a score improvement. But what some of you might not know is that also in Wayfinder, you have the ability to control the amount of cash that's identified or used for any given plan. So in this particular example, I'm looking at Equifax, and I've asked Wayfinder to give me the most cost-effective plan for a 660 plus. They're currently at 632. It's going to require the borrower to pay down some money. I know they have absolutely none, right? Everything's being used either at closing or in other areas of the process. So try other options is going to let you control or refine the plan that's going to meet your borrower's needs. So in this case, I'm going to just reduce that cash limit down to actually 0. And what that's going to look for, now it's telling me it can't find a 660 with no money, but it can get me to a 640 with no money. So the plan is to cancel an authorized user account. So that is one of the actions that can be presented that require no money that Wayfinder is going to search for. So time itself can provide a benefit. Canceling an authorized user account like you've seen here. You may also see charging a small amount can provide a benefit, or opening a new credit card can provide a benefit. And those are all actions that Wayfinder will look and search for when you once you specify your target score. So if cash is a consideration, the plan doesn't work for your borrower, you can dial it down. Now, if you go beyond Wayfinder and you need to refine your plan a little bit more, I want to show you a couple tips in the CreditXpert What If Simulator. And in the CreditXpert What If Simulator, there's actually roughly 5 different actions you can try that require absolutely no cash from your borrower. So authorized users is a pretty obvious one. So I see 2 authorized user accounts here. I'm going to remove them. 673, that's a nice boost. Maybe that's enough. Go ahead and start over. Another thing you can do is simulate adding a new account. Now, most people think if they have a rich credit history, that'll never benefit, but that's just not the case. So it gives them 1 additional account with a clean payment history. It can change the age of accounts. It can open up more credit utilization for them. So there's all sorts of reasons why a new account might provide a benefit. And this assumes additional inquiry with that credit card as well. So that's factored into that forecast. Another thing you can look at is adding an authorized user account. So a little bit different because an authorized user account can have a much longer payment history. This is especially helpful if you're dealing with a joint borrower situation where one person has the credit mainly in their name. So you can take one of those credit cards with a long history, a clean payment history. Let's just take a simulation here of one that has a 0 balance and is maybe open, let's say 5 years ago. And what we'll learn that as soon as that's reported, they can expect a 646. Another thing is late payment history, focusing on accounts that have just a single occurrence of being late. So in this particular case, we have a Nissan motor account that has some late payment history here. So 1 late payment just this past fall. We're going to simulate paying that as agreed. What's key to know about late payments, especially when there's a single one, in some cases, lenders are going to provide a goodwill adjustment. So if the consumer reaches out to the lender, explains the extenuating circumstances, they have no other history of being late, the lender may grant that adjustment and remove the late for them. But the bigger issue is that they have to be a full 30 days late for the lender to report a 30 days late. That may sound obvious to you and I, but in a lot of cases, you know, an account can go late, right? They have a late payment fee. They didn't make their payment date, but they can't report that as 30 days late. So there's something there to validate to ensure that that is a full 30 days late. And then when all else fails, there's time. So 30% of the cases, credit is going to improve in the next calendar month, right? For 30% of all mortgage credit pulls, nearly 30% of all mortgage credit pulls. So what you can do is say, well, I've got 3 months, maybe they're just starting the shopping period. Oh, there's some improvement, you know, expected in the near future. Maybe if they take 6 months, that's going to get them to where they need. So keeping everything clean, making all payments on time, 6 months, they can expect a 647. So Those are the actions that come to mind that require absolutely no cash from the borrower. They do require effort, but no cash from the borrower. Hope you find them beneficial and stay safe.